Hello, beautiful family, and welcome to Tea Time with Linda. Let's talk about Rayne, who has been going off the deep end due to all of the online commentary about her. She will not accept my friend request on Instagram, but I am able to see her threads. These are some of the latest threads that she has been posting as of September 13th. Her description about her says that she is a reality star, the realest by far. It's because of a lower vibrational force is why you behave the way you did and do. But you believe what you want to believe. I've never forced anyone to believe anything that I say. I never thought I would have a TV network exploit me to this degree. And worst of all, they involve what they can clearly see was a lying, evil scammer. The words and thoughts that come out of his mouth are purely disgusting and evil. I would never have stooped so low to hurt somebody to this degree because things weren't turning out my way, sorry. I am God sent, but your darkened heart wouldn't let you see the truth. Truth, honesty, loyalty, kindness, and love is the only way to enter the light. I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know where she reads these things or hears these things. She's constantly posting pictures like this. It's like, it screams mysticism to me. I've been baptized twice in my life, when I was first born and the year before last. And every time I hear somebody say that, I'm like, the fact that they feel like they have to vocalize that is a big red flag. Trying to prove their worth or that they're not a bad person. See, I've been baptized. See, I've done this, I've done that. As you get darker, meaner, and dirtier in this world, so does your soul. So now some influencers have now added the word dirty Nigeria, my peace. We are very much educated in the dangers that surround going to Nigeria around that time. Class paid a lot of money for some specific medications. So I was joking with the producers. But you all take everything to heart. You are not funny, nor have you ever been. You are a disgrace against the human race. When a person is really truly being guided by God, you could see the evidence. Now does the way he talk and behave seem like somebody who is God's follower? It's all talk, but it's not the walk. Kiki and Kibitz just posted this morning this message sent by Chidi's sister, Victoria. For whoever that cares to know the truth, Rayne and Chidi met in 2018, communicated very well until her madness. They later broke up and never spoke to each other for 2 to 3 years, only for Rayne to call up Chidi in June of last year, informing him about the show. Chidi wasn't even on social media because he was robbed of his Android phone and computer. He was in school then doing his MSc. I don't know what that means. So it was his direct line Rayne called because she couldn't reach him through the internet. She didn't even inform Chidi she was applying for the show, and Chidi had never known anything about it. 2 weeks later, the producers contacted Chidi for an interview. As a matter of fact, Chidi did the auditions with a borrowed phone. Rayne was so desperate about the show, begging Chidi to help her. She couldn't afford the regular calls because she needed to be in regular touch with Chidi, hence needed social media. And Chidi not having smartphone at that time was a big barrier, so she thought of getting a phone for him. Of course, she edited their chats for indictment, and it's all good. She used Chidi. Even when Chidi was seriously talking about marriage, she asked if he was crazy, if he wanted her to lose her child support. Chidi informed her he won't be sleeping together. She canceled the trip, blocked Chidi, later on called Chidi again, asking, begging him to just maintain so they could smile to the camera. The more she talks, the worse it looks. There's this verse in the Bible that says, even a fool is considered wise if he keeps his mouth shut. Yeah, you could use that advice, Raina. Okay, now here's the spoiler I have, and it's not really a spoiler. It's about Tigerlily. It was confirmed by AlleyCat222 on Reddit, and if I remember correctly, this person is also the one who posted all of this information about Kyle Gordy that nobody knew before. So I'm wanting to believe that her post is accurate. She says that the two did get married, and we know that because on Instagram there are videos of their wedding. As I am recording this, they are still married. He is currently living in America, and she did lose her alimony. I also saw this comment on Reddit about TLC finding castmates through Craigslist, and I believe that. I was on a TV show, a big TV show, and they contacted me because they found me selling something on Craigslist. And at first I thought that it was a huge scam, and they proved to me right away, like, this is all legit, blah, 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 we'll reimburse you, we'll pay for your time, all this stuff. They came over, filmed, took some of my product with them, and it was seen on the show, and I never got paid a dime. Not only did they not pay me for my time, but they didn't reimburse me for the product that they took. I was also wearing a Star of David necklace, and I had it on like a really short chain so that you could definitely see it. It was right up there by my throat. And then when they aired the episode, they had it like cropped way in on my face, so you couldn't see anything else. It was so awkward. It looked ridiculous. And to make matters worse, the person who filmed me, who came over, was one of the main producers on the show, and he was also Jewish, which probably explains why I didn't get paid. Okay, speaking of the Star of David, somebody noticed the changes I made to my background. I can't believe how observant you guys are. But they falsely identified this as a pentagram. This is not a pentagram. This is the Star of David, which has 6 points. A pentagram is like a star. It has 5 points, and then also it's an inverted star. I'm not really a huge fan of Satan. In fact, over here is a cross that I added to the room because I prefer Jesus over Satan. Down here at the bottom of my room, I replaced the shoes with a pair of Converse because I wear Converse. I hung up the American flag in the back because I'm American! And then I wanted to put a rifle over here in the corner of the room, but the AI was like, oh, we can't generate guns. That would lead to violence. So I put a sword, and my daughter thinks it's horrible and I need to take it out. And then I added the Holy Bible in the front because, duh. I really, really wanted to have a rifle in my room, so I took like this mock picture and then I darkened it and I put it above my bed, which is what the person noticed. You have an excellent eye. I can't believe you caught that. I promised that I would reveal my age after the last question. I am 33 years old. A lot of you guys guessed that right. How? How did you know? It's amazing. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so random. I was watching Botched. Do you remember Colty? And after he broke up with Larissa, he started dating, and one of the girls he dated was like this porn star girl. She was really into like writing code and data and stuff like that. She was on the show. That's her. She wanted to downsize her tatas, if anyone's wondering. This is very depressing. But I have heard that in January of 2025, all of the Instagram filters will be going out of existence. So I don't really know what I'm going to do. I've grown to love this filter. And at first, I really just wanted to do like a webcam thing. But I love this filter because I can be super stupid and goofy. And I was telling my mom, if I was on a webcam, I would be so concerned with looking cute that I wouldn't do all of that stuff. And so I don't know. Maybe I need to start looking on Snapchat, but it's not going to be this filter. And I really like this filter. So I don't know. So last night I was fixing my nails and Loren from the latest season went live on Instagram. I tuned in. I got my phone recording, expecting a bunch of tea and gossip and all these people to join his live and start chatting. And that didn't happen. I was the only person in the live. And I was like, oh my gosh, am I going to talk to him? Because if he ever sees my videos, he's not going to like me very much. But I was like, you know what? Why not? Let's just do this. So I started chatting. I started asking him questions. And he had a lot to say. I recorded for about 40 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and just summarize like the main points. And then I will add the live at the end of this video, and I'm just gonna like clip it down, shorten it because he rambles a lot. So he claims he was only in the Philippines for 20 days. His GoFundMe is still active, and I asked him, why do you have that GoFundMe for a project in the Philippines if you aren't even living there? And basically the answer was, because I want to help people. He's currently back in Vegas, and he says he would love to live in the Philippines because he loves the farm life. And of course, he wants to run the LGBTQ center, whatever it is. He also wants to open a church there because then he could live in the church. I asked him what kind of church it would be, and he's like, it doesn't matter. He had a lot of stories to tell, so I finally said to him, like, you should be a writer for the 90-day franchise because their writers suck. And then he shared with me this idea that he has for the show, and like they wanted to take him up on his idea, but I don't know. I don't know how much of him I believe. He said he would love to go hang out with Rayna and live with her on her farm. He thinks that they would get along awesome. He also said that he wouldn't mind being Tigerlily's butler. It kind of sounds like any opportunity to move in with someone is great. I asked him after he applied for the show how long before he heard back, and he said it took a couple of days, and then there were hundreds of phone calls, and not only with him, but like the guy he lived with, his family members, his friends, and then they were getting in touch with Faith's family and friends. He said he never planned on coming back to America because he literally had nowhere to go, but he was only able to stay in the Philippines for less than a month. He also said they filmed for several months. It sounds like 50% of his income has to go to his ex-wife, who is taking care of their 2 children, and he hates giving money to her. I imagine that's probably why he has all of these side hustles instead of an actual job, because then he could avoid the obligations that he has. The last thing I wanted to talk about, my mom has brought this up to me several times, and I don't like talking about it. I feel like it's reaching, but she's like, no, people want to know, they need to know. So if you want to be a supporter of this channel and you can't become a member or whatever, the best ways to support your favorite YouTubers is, 1, to watch their videos. Watching them all the way through is the best. Allowing the ads to just play instead of skipping them also helps. And then if you actually click on an ad that you're watching, I think that's supposed to be the most helpful. And then besides that, there's liking the video, leaving comments, all of that is supposed to help the analytics. But as far as getting paid from YouTube, it's by views. Some people think it's by the subscriber count you have. That's not true. It's by the views. The more views you get, the more revenue you make. It would be huge to me. I would so appreciate it if people took my videos or the links to the videos and put them on like their Facebook or their Twitter or something where people can click on it and watch it. That would be awesome. And then, let me think. Besides that, I don't know. Some people have like the coffee thing where you can like buy them a coffee or something. I don't know if I want to do that. It's just one more thing, you know? But you guys have been awesome. You've been so supportive of me and my channel, and I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you guys so much. While we're talking about it, I want to welcome our newest member, Erica S. Welcome to the tribe, girly. I love you guys, and I will see you next week for Before the 90 Days. I think we're going to get 2 new couples. And one of the guys is like a Dungeons and Dragons master or something. And I think he's meeting a woman in Nigeria.
Tell me about yourself, Araj26. So, part of the NDA is I can't talk about that because that could reveal the end of the show. But what I can say is that, man, it's gonna get crazy. Like, that last episode was like, they were like trying to keep it like the least crazy, and it's just gonna get worse as the episode goes, or like the series, right? It's gonna get wild real quick. It was just a ridiculous 20 days in the Philippines. But I don't think behind me looks like the Philippines. Not that I'm saying... Yeah, it gets a lot worse. It's like completely insane what happens. I know I look crazy, but I'm gonna look extra crazy. It's good though. I'm not really interested in... What's her name? Tigerlily and Brazilian man I skip over Brazilian, man. I can't do it. I was like, I just need to walk to Chile. That could be my way out. Not that right now I'm walking to Chile, clearly. But maybe one day I'll just give up and just walk to Chile. Did it work? So yeah, I had an old GoFundMe that like didn't work. It like expired because I didn't know they expired. But I made a new GoFundMe, and the GoFundMe is because I want to open up an LGBT community center in the Philippines, and so I would build micro housing, and I'm working with a company right now to get this like press mold, and it makes like essentially big Lego blocks, and I could build houses out of Lego blocks from recycled plastic you pull out of the ocean near where we'd be building it. I've been looking at a lot of property. I've got a few people in the Philippines that are looking for me, and then some realty companies that are also going through. Leaving, as in living there, why build one then? So like I live in America right now, right? But why does that matter? I still want to help the Philippines. I mean, I went to the Philippines to help someone, to do something in the Philippines. You wake up every day and you think, you know, I want to like save money and make a difference in my own life. But if I don't care about my own life in America, right, it has no meaning to me. Why don't I do something important with my life instead of just going to work to make money? But I mean, what if I could help someone less fortunate than me? Not that I'm super struggling. I mean, I'm always struggling, but I don't care. I just want up the Philippines. I can save up enough money to build one house at a time. And then one day, in like 7 years, when I'm legally a human being again, according to the government, I can leave the country legally, and I can equate that GoFundMe land / community center as a job. And if I open up a church on that center, I can also just live there in the church, right? Because you can get like a special visa for that. And I can spend the last few years of my life, you know, working on a garden, which would be pretty cool, and trying to find ways to help people in the Philippines. Like, something I want to learn how to do, is learn how to like loom different things. What kind of church? I don't really care what kind of church. I mean, like, Korea. The Philippines is all about Catholicism, right? That's huge there. And an individual who you may have seen me with on TV also is Catholic. So there is a chance she could work there, right? I mean, in theory, you know, at this community center I'm trying to build as a job for people in the Philippines. And so a church would be a really cool thing I could do. And something that's illegal in the Philippines is gay marriage right now. But we still could offer like ceremonies, which I think would be super cool. Love you, bye, Mom. That's my literal mom, everybody. But she can't hear me. I'm not sure what it is. So, I mean, I'm talking to some people in Vegas who are like Filipino American, because I go to Filipino American churches. And they also could help like take care of the property, right? So, because I can't be there. My ex-wife would never let that happen. She needs her money. And I get it. She could take all the money she wants. 50% flat. That's all she can legally take. I just scrape up every single penny I possibly can that she doesn't take, and I send it to a special someone that's unnamed in the Philippines. And that person is going to help me open up this property and open up this community center, which will take time. I've got 7 years to pull it off. The show is going to help. Somehow, like, I would like live stream my walk to Chile, and it would take me like months. It would take me forever. And hopefully I would get, well, yeah. But I mean, like, I work, well, right now I'm not working 3 jobs. Right now I'm only working 2 jobs, 85 hours a week. This whole idea of opening the community center in the Philippines only came out, I don't know if I can talk about that. Almost got me there. So the people on the TV show who are filming with me, they said I might be able to do an autobiography, which would be kind of cool. Life of Lauren Allen. I wanted to do a little bit differently. I wanted to get 3 people, right? And they would interview me like a therapist, and we would go year by year that I can remember of my life. And I started filming a movie in high school, and I'm like, I need to collaborate with everyone on this film. The film, we filmed for 2 years, and then we lost the footage. Okay, so I actually have this, and the people at the studio are super pumped. So you take 90 Day Fiance people, 10 couples, whether they're together still or not, from any of the 90-day reality, and you put them on an island hotel, right? And so these 10 couples have 90 days together in this real world, like big hotel island type thing. You have every day, you have a challenge, and you have daily chores, and then there's room rotations. So everyone will be like super hunky-dory happy with like the first like week of being there. And they'll have like the chores they want. And the challenges are pretty easy. But as the 90 days continues, the rooms switch. They switch up all over the place. So you have like people that don't like each other sleeping in the same room with people that don't, because they're like bunking. And then the chores switch up, and then the challenges progressively get harder. And so this would cause just infinite non-stop drama between the extremely conflicting characters in all of the 90-day universe. So I've never really watched the show. I guess I've only ever seen my episodes. Hi. And so I want to meet Chicken Girl, Rayne. I think I want to see her chickens in real life. So when I was growing up, and like the farm life is what I really want again, which is why the Philippines is something I want, because I want to go out in the middle of nowhere and open my community center. Yeah, I want to meet her to meet her chickens. And I think it'd be kind of cool to live with her for a little bit, because like my life, my ex-wife got pregnant. She just felt like it, which was great. And so I did the whole dad thing. We got low-income housing for like 4 years. And then at some point we spiraled out of control and we couldn't handle living together. Well, I couldn't handle living with her. She just wanted low-income housing and more kids. And I said, this is ridiculous. And so I moved to my friend's house in Stanwood, got a girlfriend who was awful for 3 years. For the whole 3 years, it was awful. Moved to Oregon. In Oregon, me and that girl had a falling out because she finally understood I didn't like her. And I'm like, listen, I told you I didn't like you for 3 years. Like, I don't understand why now you're understanding. So in Oregon, I met the librarian who was in the show with me, the girl in the red dress. It's fine. Life goes on, right? I'm here now, and I met someone, right? You know who I'm talking about, but I can't say it. And so in Oregon, I met the librarian, the girl who's my ex, who I go to the sex shop with in the show, in the first episode. We lived together for a little bit in Oregon while I was a security guard where I got this tattoo 102. Then we moved to New Mexico, where Rayne's from, Ryan, whatever her name is. In New Mexico, I couldn't get a job, and I couldn't get an ID because I was illegal from Mexico. Not too sure about how that works. To Washington State, where eventually the librarian followed. When I was in Washington again, in Seattle, and they're all like, you never see your kids. It's like, listen, if I'm like barely surviving in Oregon and New Mexico, where's this time? What the hell are you talking about? I'm like moving around all the time. Is that what kids need to be involved in? Abusive, crazy relationships? And like this dude who's just always moving around because he didn't have any money? No. I'm not going to get my kids like involved in all that. They're going to live with their mom, and I'm just going to like live my life until I can figure it out. But 10 years later, I'm still just friggin' right now I'm living between two places. Yeah, I'm back in Seattle, and that's when I finally got my first like good job. And then my girlfriend at the time used the gym, and they're like, well, you're all fired. And I said, wow. And that's when I moved to Kent, Washington. I had temporary housing with one of my coworkers. That was a really short-lived, like 3 months. And then I found my girlfriend then from Kent, Washington. I lived with her for 4 years. In her household, I, according to her mom, was not allowed to have kids from a pre-existing marriage. So the children I had were not allowed to come to the house. Even though it was like driving distance. So I didn't see my kids for a really long time. Again, even though I was closer, it just wasn't in the cards. And that was a crazy, abusive, psychotic relationship for a long time as well. I just lost my mind, right? It was too much. She was so crazy. And so then the librarian reached out to me and she's like, listen, I have a free place for you to live in Las Vegas if you want to drive down here. And I said, oh my God, I don't want to drive to Vegas. And she's like, I'll get you a plane ticket, but I didn't want to lose my little scooter. I drove my scooter in winter, like November, from Washington State all the way to Nevada. And that was brutal and awful. And there's this house. I'm living in this house. And I'm like, I did it. Turns out the bank is going to take this house. So here I am, just moving to Las Vegas. I don't know anybody. I only have the librarian. And the house is going to disappear because I wasn't with my girl in Kent anymore. I found my online girl. And so here I am, stuck in Las Vegas after riding my scooter like 2,000 miles. Kind of homeless because the house disappeared to the bank because no one paid the bills for 5 years, which I didn't know about till after I moved down here. Like a couple days, and they were like, hey, we need to contact you. And so like 100 phone calls later, not only for me, but for my friends, from my mom, from my siblings. They called my entire family, everyone I know, basically to be like, is this a real person? Is he really doing this? And they're like, yeah, he's really screwed and homeless in Vegas. And he's really going to the Philippines. In the show, when I'm talking about never coming back to America, it's literally because technically I had nowhere to go back to, right? So I'd be just shelling out money. He owes me $1,800 that I needed to go to the Philippines, right? Because I needed money to go there, but here I am in one of my houses without power and without AC and without water, and I'm just like, I just need a place to live, man. During this time, I was also working 3 jobs though. So I worked at TJ Maxx, backroom coordinator / janitorial. I also worked at this gift shop who has yet to pay me and owes me $8,000. I'm rounding it down. It's slightly more than $8,000, but they owe me a lot of money and never paid me before or after my return from the Philippines. And then Derek Daniels. Derek Daniels pays me, but it's only $40 a show and it's not every day. I don't have any money to begin with. I don't understand why everyone in my life that I know is always like, oh, Loren has money. He'll pay for everything. And I just go, just because I'm really good at saving money, because I don't eat, and I don't go out, and I don't buy clothes, I know how to sew my own stuff back to being fixed. You know I'm not in the Philippines right now. My life has clearly taken some kind of turn. In this turn, I'm trying to save up money to at least make someone else's life better in the Philippines, which everyone's saying is ridiculous and unnecessary, and like, why would you help people? Which doesn't seem like the right answer to me, because I want to help everyone. I know I can't, but I would love to somehow help everyone. And hopefully one day I get a chance. I'll be on some kind of podcast and I'll become something and get in some kind of position to where I actually could. I mean, right now on the show, I'm viewed as like this horrible, horrible person. I know I can do it because eventually some of the good stuff I'm saying will get through to someone who can help me help the world. That's a big no-no question. I would have to say that based on the things that I was okay with doing, okay, I said things. Oh my God, this is hard. The LB word is not something I say. I need to make that clear. I do not say that word in reference to anyone who is transgender. And that's really going to get me in a lot of trouble. And it already has. Because now I'm known as that guy. I guess that's the only thing. Like, the rest is all, like, ridiculous lore and nonsense, which people are taking really seriously, but I don't know. I know I'm not, like, a comedian. Okay, so I think I filmed for, like, 1 to 2 months before a plane trip that did happen. And then a tourist visa in the Philippines is 30 days without extension. If I go longer than 30 days, child support puts me in jail. So if you do that math, it's about 90 days, which is pretty interesting. Because it's kind of like a package thing, you know, like even if you hate me, even if people really hate me, I need season 2 for someone else, not for me. I just have to be involved because I'm part of that package. I'm going to do anything it takes. So I'm going to live stream all the time, and I'm going to post stupid stuff, and I'm going to comment on everything, and hopefully I can start like a hate blog and a love me blog, because every single day after work, I have nothing better to do than to try and make someone else's life better. I'm kicked off of Reddit because I said that vaginas can have bacterial infections and rot, which is true. Everyone's saying that's not true. But there is like something other than a yeast infection that a vagina can get that'll cause like a rotting with like an orange, yellowy, yellow, green mucus that comes out of it. That is a form of vaginal rotting that doesn't smell good, which does get me in trouble. I also said that because people were making fun of my family photo, that we were like Nazis and vampires and murderous, right? And so my joke was, well, all white folks are the devil. And that's like an actual joke. You can look it up. And they took really big offense to it. And I'm just like, get out of here. Like, it's not like I was making fun of like other races or something, you know? There's a lot of good jokes you could make about white people being stupid. Yeah, enjoy some dinner. I made rice, but normally I don't eat. But Derek has free rice.